Hey guys, what's up? It's Pat here from Mountain Sledder. Today we are riding a couple of model year 23 Ski-Doo sleds. They look the same, but these are very different sleds. Over on my right here, we have the Ski-Doo Summit Edge. And on my left, we have the Ski-Doo Summit X with Expert package. So both black, but very different handling characteristics. So we're gonna do a little walk around here, show you guys basically the difference between these. And you can see it for yourself, some of the different things that are featured on this Expert versus the Edge. Just to give you a quick little summary or break it down, the Edge is basically the premium in-season model that Ski-Doo offers for the mountain segment, and the Expert is their most technical, you could call it a premium offering, I guess, but really it's more tailored towards technical riding where you're doing really steep side hills in the deep trees like we are here now, and really getting after it. So that's designed for the rider that wants a bit of a more precise ride. So for 2023, there's been a lot of changes to this unit. Both of these sleds have all the benefits of the new Gen 5 platform that's new for model year 2023. So let's take a look at the Edge first. Come on in and we'll go over some of the changes to the Gen 5 in some other content that we have. So if you're looking for that information, it's all up on sleddermag.com. You can find it there and some of our other videos. But specifically for today, we want to look at what are the riding and handling characteristics that separate these two sleds. So one of the main things that we're going to start with is that this Edge snowmobile has a 36-inch ski stance. So that's what Ski-Doo's had for a number of years now. For 2022, the Expert changed to a 34-inch ski stance. So that little bit of narrowing does it actually make it easier to tip up and a little bit more precise in the steep trees. The other thing that separates the two here, up front anyways, is that the Edge maintains the Ski-Doo Pilot DS3 ski. So that ski has been used since I think 2017, something like that, for Ski-Doo. Works really well. It's got that removable tip, and you'll see in a minute that we've got a new ski on the Expert for model year 2023. Up front as well here, we've got, these are basically the KYB HPG shocks. These are sort of the base model shocks. They can't be rebuilt or anything like that. So they come on the SP and the Edge sleds. So that's a bit of a base model shock. And just moving back through the body of the sled here, a lot of Gen 5 changes, but we won't totally get into those. You'll have to look at our other content to see that. Moving back to the console area here, we've got a 6.5-inch riser here on the Edge sled, and the Expert you're going to see a shorter riser. And there's some other console changes for the Expert as well that are different. These are both the 850 naturally aspirated sleds, so neither one of these has the turbo. Coming back a little farther on the sled here, take a look at the seat. So I think this is called the compact seat. So as you can see, it's quite small. It's not really going to get in your way when you're doing mountain riding. You can hop back and forth quite well. So, you know, like they say, seats are only made for sitting on, eating your lunch. So it's good that it's small and out of the way. And then we've got the cutout running boards here. This is a change for model year 23, part of the Gen 5 update. But you can see that it's narrower by about 1.5 inches on each side. And also these cutouts have been opened up by about 5%. So you get a little bit more snow falling through there. And as you can see, we've been riding in the trees in the snow here today. And you know, the snow's not really hanging up in there at all. Just moving to the back of the sled here. We've got the short tunnel that's standard on most of the Summit sleds, with the exception of the SP, short snow flap. And if you come on around this way here, we'll take a look at the skid frame. So what we have here on the Edge sled is This is the newly redesigned T-Motion X skid frame, which is all new, part of the Gen 5 platform adjustments. So 90% new parts in here. The geometry's been changed. The front arm's a bit longer. Some things have been moved around. For the Edge, this maintains that pivoting rear arm that we know from previous generations of T-Motion. So there you can see it there. It's all covered in snow and ice from riding. We've been having some fun out there today, and maintains the torsion springs. So this skid is considerably lighter than the previous T-Motion. And the Edge also has a new track. It's called the, for the 3-inch length, it's called the Powder Max X Lite. And this track is, depending on the track length, I believe it's around 2.6 pounds lighter than the former Flex Edge track. So this one on the Edge still maintains the Flex Edge. So the idea with this sled is it's now easier to handle and tip up than the previous Gen 4. It maintains that easy tip up characteristic from the T-Motion that existed before, and it maintains that 36-inch ski stance. So if you're a Gen 4 rider, what you're gonna find is these Gen 5s are just improved handling, easier to hold that side hill and maintain and ride in as you go into more technical terrain than the Gen 4 chassis did, but retaining a lot of those familiar characteristics, riding characteristics, the T-Motion and the tip up, and everything that you've grown accustomed to, just better. Okay, I think for the Edge, that's about it. There's lots of Gen 5 changes. You guys check out our other videos for that content. This thing is awesome. It's really improved, and it's a lot of fun to ride. But let's go over to the Expert, because there's a lot of stuff on there that's designed specifically to make that thing even more precise and capable in really steep terrain than it was before already. So let's go check it out. So we'll start at the back over on this one. Both these sleds, by the way, are the 155 track length. Both of them have the 3-inch lug. So starting at the back here, you can see right away, this is the newly redesigned T-Motion XT. So it has a lot of the changes as the T-Motion X, which is new for 2023. But the key thing is fixed rear arm. So you're not going to get that flexing and wash from the T-Motion. But along with that is that it's going to require a little bit more effort to tip up than the sleds with the T-Motion X. So where the benefits from this are found is in the really steep stuff. The track is less likely to wash. You can hold a more precise line. Sean and I have really experienced that today riding around. It was actually immediately apparent riding on this thing that is much more precise, holds a straighter line, and just more capable and technical in that side hilling type of terrain. So part of the benefits that come there are from the track as well. So this is also a new track. This is the Powder Max X Lite with full width rods. So the rods extend all the way through the track, all the way to the edge. And so it doesn't have that flex edge characteristic that you're going to get with the Edge sled, for example, or actually any of the other Summit sleds. They all have the T-Motion X, and they all have the flex edge except for the Expert. So part of that track redesign, lighter, I believe, again, depending on the track length, 2.6 pounds lighter. And as you can see, the paddles now come all the way out to the edge, and they've beefed them up. They're a bit more reinforced in there just to try and make them a little bit more durable. So a little bit more traction as that comes all the way out to the edge now. So lots of changes in the skid frame here. Some of those are similar in that the front end or the front arm is longer. The position of the rear mount has been moved back, I believe it is. And basically they calibrate these skid frames for a 165 track length. And then the 155 track lengths, the rails are shorter. And then for 175, rails are longer. But basically they start with the 165, and that's where they do their design, and then it's calibrated from there. Okay, so differences on the Expert that we're going to see from like the Edge, the Summit X, and the SP definitely. Since we're here, we'll take a look at the rails. So this is the new Profile running board. Check it out. This thing is cut out way more. I think the number is 53% cutouts or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but like look at these things, they're way cut out. And also something else that they've done is they've cut this right out on the side. If it's all full of ice right now because of the conditions today, but this is basically cut out also that snow can also fall out the bottom here alongside the chain case. So we've been riding in good snow here, ripping around, and there's nothing built up on there, as you can see. The Expert has I think it's called the Ultra compact seat, so it's even more compact than what you're going to find on the Edge and the other Summit sleds. So that thing is tiny. It really is out of the way. You're not going to have any trouble with getting your feet hung up on it, jumping over side to side and that kind of thing. And for the Gen 5s, because the body panels are so much more narrow, they had to relocate the belts. So you'll see on these sleds that the belts now are actually tucked away at the back because there's just no room under the hood. While we got the sled tipped up, let's just take a look at the ski. So this is it's called the DS4. It's the Pilot ski. It's the latest one from Skidoo. It's only found on the Expert for model year 2023. And I believe the profile's been flattened here at the front as well. And it's also got a new rubber that's meant to be more durable. So basically what all that does is keeps the ski flatter, so it's less likely to push up in hard snow. And what happens when the ski pushes up and you're side hilling, you hit a hard chunk of snow or something like that, or an old track, when that pushes up, wants to stop your forward momentum, and then the back end of the track is likely to wash out because you can't keep your forward momentum. That's like having a boat anchor. So all this redesign is basically with that in mind, to help keep that ski flat and keep the side hill more precise. And all this together, it's difficult to say like, oh, how much does the ski contribute? How much does the full width track contribute? How much does the fixed rear arm contribute? It's hard to say, but when you ride it, it's all significant. It all contributes, and it is very much more precise than even the previous Expert. Okay, since we're up here, these are the shocks on the Expert. They are no longer the Kashima shocks that were on previously. So this is the KYB HPG Plus shock. So it's got some ability to be rebuilt, I guess, or repressurized, I should say. And it comes with this lightweight spring. So they shaved a little bit of weight on there. In total, the Skidoo sleds with the Gen 5 have shaved as much as 16 pounds off the previous Gen 4, and that just depends on basically the configuration of the sled. So I don't know exactly how much lighter this one is, but this exact configuration weighs 430 pounds. And the Edge that we just looked at, which is the same track length, same track lug, they're both naturally aspirated 850s. That one's 445 pounds. So this one's, the Expert's 15 pounds lighter than that sled there. And the rear track shock is a KYB Pro EA3 shock. And, well, okay, what else? Let's look at the console area. Maybe we can compare those skis. Let's just take a quick look at the profile of the ski there on the Expert. And over here we've got the DS3. So visually we can see that here on the DS3 the keel doesn't extend as far back as on the DS4. And it's also got the removable tip. But other than that, if you're just looking at it, I mean, it's hard to distinguish what are the differences between the two skis. We just have a bit of a flatter profile on the front over there, I believe. Okay, so let's just take a look at the console area. So Summit Expert. We have the flexible hand guards. They're really nice to keep the wind off your hands when you're riding along. This morning it was -20 on the trail, so it was kind of nice to have that break from the wind. Also keeps, more importantly, the snow off your grips, so you can maintain a good grip. We've got the reinforced brake reservoir here. It's all reinforced by metal. That came out in 2022, but this is new for 2023. This is the adjustable brake lever. So it can be dialed in and out, 20 millimeters of adjustment to fit however you like to operate it. And basically, yeah, now you can operate it with 1 or 2 fingers. I can only do 1 because I got the mid on here. But yeah, you can bring it in closer to the bar, push it out, depending on how much, where you like it to be. I believe it's 15 millimeters in adjustability and 5 millimeters out from what the old one was. And there is still a parking brake, but unfortunately, I broke it off today, I will admit. So yeah, so that is a new on the Expert and the Freeride, I believe. So it's also got the old Expert goodies that have been along for a while there with the narrower diameter grips. And this riser block is shorter. It's 4.7 inches. So it really gets you nice and low and keeps your center of gravity low when you're doing that technical riding. We've got a trunk here, and this is the new, you'll see more about this in some other content, but this is the new 10.25 inch color touchscreen display. It's only available as a spring check option, so it's not going to be available on the Edge because that's in-season model only. But yeah, this display is huge. Just check it out. Gives you all the legal stuff there that you have to, what you want to know. And you can configure it how you like. You can do different settings with what you can do at 1/3 and 2/3 setting, or you can do the full display. You can do navigation, phone, music, all kinds of stuff like that on this thing. So that's pretty cool. You saw we had shot obviously. Shot is an option, I believe, or can come on the in-season models as well now, which historically it was spring check only, but that is there as well. And these are sort of the new intakes on the Gen 5 up here on top of the, right next to the console. So that's the air intake there, less likely to be damaged than where they were on the sides before by catching sticks or that kind of thing. So that's nice placement there. And yeah, so basically how these things handle, the biggest differences are narrow ski stance and fixed rear arm in the T-Motion XT and full width rods in the track. And this thing is the 36-inch ski stance in the Edge, and it's got the T-Motion X, which has the pivoting rear arm and the flex edge track. And so those are big time contributors into how these things handle. And just to summarize kind of what our experience riding them today, basically we find that the Summit Edge lands somewhere between the precision of this thing and the previous Gen 4. So it's a little bit more precise, a little bit easier to side hill. I should say more than a little bit, significantly than the previous Gen 4 model. And this thing is absolutely more precise and more capable and more confidence inspiring in the steep, tight stuff. Now the trade-off for that is, of course, there's going to be a little bit more steering effort involved. Tip-up initiation is going to be a little bit more difficult, but if you're in the situations where, or if you're a rider where you know you're comfortable doing those things and you don't need that extra little bit of assistance that's provided by the T-Motion with the pivoting arm, then this thing is going to feel much more capable in these type of situations that we're riding in. So that's sort of the breakdown between the two. We've experienced basically what Skidoo is saying, that this thing is more precise, and this is just lighter, better, narrower than the Gen 4 models. So they're getting better all the way, and yeah, the Expert is a weapon.